Welcome back to Coin Sense and Nonsense. Today, we've got 10 more bars for the collection. So I've been holding on to these for a couple weeks just to make it interesting. And I do like to collect bars from ANA, or American Numismatic Association events. And a lot of the early art bars commemorated the ANA conventions, and the Boston ANA in 1973 actually has several bars. Actually, there's one right there. So this, I think, has become like one of my top favorites all of a sudden here. The toning is really cool. This one won't be part of the Dipsky project. And I don't know if I can do it justice here between the gloves and the whatnot, but man, really cool toning. And then this side also has awesome toning. It seems worn. I don't know if somebody had this in their pocket or what, but it's interesting, unless it was kind of a low relief strike to begin with. But wow, I love this. So happy to have this one in the collection. And let's check the good book. Here we are in the book, Joel D. Rettew. And I do love this mint or producer. I have this Merry Christmas, Happy New Year 1974 bar. Also one of my favorite Comet Cahutek. But anyway, we're getting off track. JR3, I don't know what happened to JR1, but anyway, Boston ANA 1973, and 7,000 minted, they say, but 3,000 melted, so net 4,000, I'm saying, I don't know. But they say that's the obverse. I don't know which side I like better. I do like this side, but the toning on this side is magnificent. So I think I'm going to put this side up. I guess I can always look at either side because capsules are mostly universal, right? There he is. Next up, it's another ANA bar, and for the same convention, actually. This one for the Boston 82nd anniversary convention of the American Numismatic Association, or ANA, and this design has the pine tree shilling on there. Kind of a neat design. And so this bar has an inverted reverse. So there are varieties to be aware of. Let's check the good book. Here we are in the book, and Coin Galleries of San Francisco. It's another mint or producer that's lesser known, has kind of a small catalog, but we've got two varieties of what they're calling the pine tree shilling, and it's either type 1 or type 2. Type 1 is inverted, and that's what I've got. 7,500 minted and rarity 4. And if you're not familiar with how this book works, if it has a dollar amount, that is likely the amount over spot price when this book was published, which I think was 2007. And then rarity 4 is the next rung down from the dollar amount ones. And they don't know how to spell rarity. And this book, if you're wondering, there it is. We'll get that into a capsule. And I am collecting ANA bars. So as any of you that know me know that I have little sub-collections within my collection. So I believe this is my third ANA bar, and there are only 8 that I'm aware of. So I do have the Los Angeles 1975, I believe, and I'll give you a show of that here and cut it in. Right, here is that other ANA bar, and I was correct, 1975. So this one is really, really neat. USSC makes it even more neat. So happy about that. Next up, it's another bar from a mint that is mostly unknown. And actually, it's got limited in its name. Limited issue bars is the name of the mint or company that produced these. And there it is, limited issue bar ink. And this is issue number 1. And this is for Watergate, the break-in. And the designer is Lenko. Got a serial number there, and they really struck the crap out of it. It's got a big dent right there. So 1 ounce, and it's 0.999 fine silver, and that is important because when we go to the book, you're going to see there are several varieties of this bar. Here we are, limited issue bars, and we won't get into all the others, but Watergate Hotel, and you can see there's an S-ton here, and a lot of it has to do with the composition. So the only one that's in silver is what I've got, LIBI 5, and 1973 does have a serial number, type 2 reverse, 2,500 minted, but look at that rarity value, $40. So the key, and actually what the other varieties are, the other composition, they call it metal 70. Metal 70 consists of 70% tin, 6% antimony, and 24% lead. So I think just to be safe, we have to get out the CCT coin slide and give her a ride. Looks good to me. So this one has a bit of a bizarre shape. I'm not sure it's gonna fit in the capsule. It fits length and width wise, but whooshka, she's a little too beefy there. So don't want to force it. We got a solution. Actually, I think the best solution is maybe the Whitman album, but in the meantime, let's try this square corner job here and see. No, it's too thick for that as well. Wow. So Whitman album it is, but not today. All right, since we're dealing with troublemaker-sized bars, I think this one is also a little different. Kind of short and stubby, a little fat. So I don't know if this will be capsule worthy, but I don't care. Amark bar. Been wanting one of these. I do have a big collection, or a large collection, of USVI Ingot Company Amark ingots. And this, I feel, kind of adds to my collection. Let's see in the good book what they think about it. It's in the commercial and miscellaneous section. There it is, Amark. So unfortunately, there isn't much information. Doesn't even tell you the year. And I believe it is 1981, but let's check another resource for that data. But a $12 rarity value for a commercial bar with no known mintage, not bad. And will it fit into a capsule? Nope. Also too thick. So, square. There we go. All right, next up. Actually, probably should have shown this one after the Watergate bar, but was all hung up on the size. So this is the Watergate Gang, and I love this bar. Had always wanted this one. Seeing them in stripes. So this bar is from Colonial Mint, and I do love their geometric shapes, indentations, whatever, that are on their bars, and that signifies which type of reverse it is. I don't believe the Watergate bar has any varieties. Let's check it. And here we are in the book, Colonial Mint, and so Colonial 15, the Watergate Gang. And so I've studied this book for a long time for the Watergate Gang, so I was correct. No varieties listed. 1973. It does have a serial number, type 10 reverse, only 1,000 minted, and $50 rarity value. So imagine, like, if spot's 33 now, that's $83. I don't think that's realistic. I tend to use that dollar amount as a relative value, not a strict conversion factor. let's check the reverse type. And here we are on the Colonial Mint header section here, and there are 20 known reverse types or varieties used by Colonial Mint, and that's what I mean. They're all so cool. So reverse type 10 is what we've got. Get that into a capsule, and just for the heck of it, what's going on here? We're having a spaz is what we're having. Oh, man. They're trying to bust out already before we get them in there. So let's, just for fun, do the breakdown of the 7 characters here. Right, next up is another from Colonial Mint. And this is one I've also been after for a while, the Vince Lombardi. Winning is not everything, it is the only thing. Vince Lombardi, Green Bay Packers, and then just the 1 year with the Washington Redskins at the time, not the Washington football team or the Commanders, whatever. 1956, that's not the date, that's my serial number. And in keeping with the Colonial Mint cool reverse types, this one is super special. So this one has a football and mine has laces. And so let us check the book for those details. So here is the football reverse, and one says with laces on ball and one without laces. Kind of interesting because when you look at Vince Lombardi, Colonial 19, there's no variety. There's just with laces. So I don't know if the good book omitted the type 15A variety, but $25 rarity value. And that one, I'll tell you, if you figure the spot price, I probably did pay a little bit closer to that value. So it just depends on the bar. So let's see if we can do this on the fly here without an edit. And speaking of edits, if you're a fan of bloopers, stay tuned. We've been having trouble. So there it is. Next up, we've got something from Madison Mint, and many of you are more familiar with Madison Mint than some of the others I've shown already, and this particular design is also familiar to many of you. 4-man stack. So this one is a variety. I do have another one of a what they call type 7. This is type 1 with a simple Madison Mint name printed there with the border like this. And I'll show you there are 3 varieties of the Spirit of St. Louis. I know it so well even before we go to the good book, but let's do that. So this is part of the so-called transportation set. My buddy Victor de los Reyes and I jokingly refer to it as. So Madison 4 and Madison 4, there's all kinds of varieties here, reverse variety, and type 7, 1 and 2. Like I say, this one is type 1. No mintage data. All are the same rarity value. We are with the different types of reverse, and reverse type 1 is what I've got, just with the simple Madison Mint. And type 2 has some extra printing, hard to see here on this reproduction or book, whatever, but I think it says 0.999 fine silver underneath Madison Mint. So I just need that type 2 to complete my set of Spirit of St. Louis bars. So that is one of the things with Madison Mint and some of the other larger mints. There are many, many varieties to collect. You could go nuts. So, and speaking of which, another Madison Mint, and this one is John F. Kennedy. And what we're looking for varieties is whether there's a serial number here. So that's step 1 before we go to the good book. And then the reverse type. And again, with the geometric shapes, might make you think it's Colonial Mint, but it's not. It's Madison Mint. and let us check the good book. And here we are in the book, and you can see the Kennedy. We've got either 16 or 17. 16's got a serial number, so we know it's 17. And then we go down here, and there is a variety. So John F. Kennedy with the reverse variety. So it's either type 9 or type 7A. All the other details are the same. The rarity value is slightly more for the type 9. What's type 9? Type 9 is mine. So that is cool. So this is the higher valued one and very nice condition. Let's get that into a capsule before we ruin the condition. Ooh, we're upside down. Not a robust squish, but we're in there. So we got 2 more to go. And this next one, I don't know if we're leaving that in or not. This next one is also from Madison Mint, Capricorn. This is part of the Zodiac series. Actually, this is a type 2 reverse. I should have shown that as an example, or at least if it's in this orientation, it's type 2. We're going to dispute that, I think, or have a different number because this is a portrait style. And so before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's go to the good book and see what's doing. And here we are, Zodiac series, and we have Capricorn, and you can read that for yourself, but 10 bars had an error with the symbol upside down. Unfortunately, mine's the normal one there. 206, we're getting down into the collection. I don't have the error. Capricorn, 1978. I don't think I have many bars with that date. Type 4 reverse. See, it's called different. And no mintage data, rarity 4. And so the reason they call it type 4 is because it's in that other orientation. So that's what I've got. Type 4 reads down. Type 4 reads down. Get that into a capsule. There we go. Pretty cool. So I don't know, eventually, maybe I'll collect the whole set of Zodiacs, but not really my thing. And there are so many other mints that I'm collecting, I don't think I can do them all. So similarly, with lots of different designs and varieties, this one is the Father's Day bar from Lode Mint. And so what makes them a variety is also the type of reverse. This is a type 4, very worn, but what distinguishes type 4 from type 3 is the pan. That's a gold panning pan, and if it's filled in like this one, that is type 4. It's type 3 if there's like an outline there. They call it hollow pan if it's type 3. So again, I know these very well from studying the good book. But what is also interesting with these is the variety involves the size of the ripple at the end of the fishing line there on Junior. So this is Father's Day 1973, and let us check the good book. And here we are in the book, and you can see Lode Mint, small ripple at end of line, and then there's another one with a large ripple at the end of the line. And Father's Day, oh my gosh, so large ripple, and then the rest all have small ripple. And you can also eliminate them by the type of reverse. And so, like I mentioned, I have type 4, so mine must be this small ripple variety, 38V2. And type 4, and mine isn't inverted, so I do have one of the more valuable varieties. And so we can tell it's not inverted because it's still upside down when you flip it that way. So, and let's check. I'll show you the reverse varieties here, so you believe me on the type 3 and type 4 and all that good stuff. Here we go. So type 4 is what I've got, solid pan rim, And then I mentioned hollow pan rim. You can see kind of the outline there. So happy to have this one. So let's see if we can get it into a capsule. Uh-oh. Some of these Mother Lode mints were a little bit tight. Actually, it's going to be fine. There we go. And there we have it. 10 more bars for the collection. We'll incorporate them into the guardhouse boxes and the Whitman album in a future episode. So I thank you so much for watching Coinsense and Nonsense. And until next time, bye. Bye. It's been a minute or two since I've done a bar video. Had a lot going on lately. And now there's someone at the door, damn it. We're back with 10 more bars for the collection. And been a minute since I've shot a coin. Well, these aren't coins. Shit. First up, we've got this cool bar. Well, they're all cool. Jesus. And here we are. No, we're not. Not that there's really two sides, but I do, well, there is two sides. There are two sides. Holy shit. This one is the pine, has a pine tree shilling on the coin there. It's not a fucking coin. God bless America. The 82nd anniversary. And this one has, what's a, almost looks like it has tinsel on it. Huh? R4 means that it's like the four, oh God. The wiretapping or tapes or whatever was going on. And I flipped it the wrong friggin' way. This one, I believe, is type 2. So, no, type 1. Dick. I believe, God bless it. Get that, not that way.